All right, guys, a nice win for the Utah Jazz on the back end of a back-to-back against the Wolves. This is the Utah Jazz postgame show on the Hoopster channel. Nice win for Utah. Just a very open and shut win that Jazz fans have been kind of expecting, that they didn't get two games. Two of their most recent losses were bad losses for Utah. And tonight, I think the Jazz really looked back on track. And really the reason for all of this is, one, Rudy Gobert looked back to Rudy Gobert dominance. I think he's kind of faltered there a little bit, and I think that game against Milwaukee 5 or 6 games ago messed with his head. I think the All-Star snub also did some things to Rudy that just made him maybe a little bit, it's hard to work so hard for something and then have it not happen and then have that same motivation intensity after that happens. And I can't fault Rudy Gobert for not being, 100% perfect all the time. And I think Rudy's been about 90% lately. But tonight you saw Rudy Gobert play really well against Minnesota and Karl-Anthony Towns. The crazy thing about Karl-Anthony Towns is he probably had a bad night tonight. 26 points in 26 minutes, 9 for 15 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3. The guy is just an offensive superstar. He's incredible. Now, it's debatable about his defense. I think it is getting better. But offensively, there's just no arguing that Karl-Anthony Towns is awesome. The question for Towns is, in the future, can he make it so that his defense at least doesn't negate what he does on offense? But sometimes he's just so good offensively, it's just remarkable. He's fantastic. The Wolves really have just a great piece in Towns. There's some other nice pieces for the Wolves. Josh Okogie's turned out to be a really nice pick. I haven't had enough time to watch the Wolves to, have the greatest opinions on them, but I know that he's looked really good. I've always been a fan of Saric. Covington, when he comes back, is going to do some nice things for them. It sucks that he's been injured for the Wolves. But for the Utah, it's been Rudy Gobert. Looks like he's getting closer to that full 100% Rudy. Got to get... When you have 100% Rudy Gobert, it just dominates the game. He's just phenomenal. And also, I think we're seeing 100% healthy and accurate Donovan Mitchell. He had to have been hurt the first part of this year because he just flat out wasn't dunking the ball. I think he was dunking the ball at least half as much as he was the year before. Now he's dunking it. He's throwing it down. That patented vintage for a second-year player, but vintage Donovan Mitchell throwback dunk is back. He does it. And I thought it was gone, and probably he was just hurt, and that would explain the slumps from Mitchell, the shooting issues, the finishing at the rim struggling. I mean, the finishing at the rim is the biggest sign of his struggles. He's fixed it. Donovan looks just completely back. Tonight, Donovan Mitchell, a ho-hum 24 points in 32 minutes. 8 for 17 from the field. He only shot 1 for 6 from 3, and put up 24 on an efficient night. Plus 11 for the game, plus 14 for Rudy Gobert. Those are your 2 stars, and they're fun to watch. I'm not going to talk about anything else because I know that some people are going to be in the comments talking about things that really don't matter. But the big thing that matters for you and by the way, you've got to give it to Joe Ingles, he's the glue. He really is. Joe Ingles tonight, 5 for 11 from the field, only 2 for 8 from 3, but 8 assists, 6 turnovers for Joe. Okay night for Joe, though. Joe played good enough. And when Joe plays good enough, the Jazz win. Especially when Rudy and Donovan look like all-stars. So, guys, that's all I got. It's a nice night, kind of an open-shut case thing. I don't think it was really ever in question that Utah would win this game. Also, a big shout-out to Raul Neto, who's playing phenomenal. You can't argue with how Raul Neto's playing. He's playing awesome. This second half of the season has been really nice for him. You hope he can stay healthy because Neto puts in huge effort, plays well. His shooting's nice, and he just plays really well. So let's just hope Neto can stay healthy. I think one of the things with Neto is that he is a little undersized, and so but he doesn't shy away from banging with other bigger players, and I think sometimes that does lead to some of the injuries that he sometimes gets. But let's hope that Neto can stay healthy because he's playing awesome. Guys, like and subscribe this video. I will talk to you next game.